I call the Right Honourable Winston
Mr. Speaker, the ACT Party's recent affair is a long-running saga of political sleaze, double talk and cant, unparalleled by any party in this country's history. The National Party can smile and the National Party can laugh, but I know what happened here. John Banks took legal advice. It was wrong, and he should have turned away from it when he determined that that was the case, having looked at the charges against him, and sadly he has wrecked his career, but he should have known this from the start. The ACT Party was no party to join in the first place. Now, finally justice has prevailed, and it should be without any thanks to the Prime Minister of this country. The Prime Minister, you know, has no knowledge of electoral law. He has no view that it's a cornerstone of our democracy. And if electoral law can be flaunted and manipulated with apparent ease, what sort of country would New Zealand finally become? Right now, as we know, next week, the Conservatives are going to launch their campaign in East Coast Bays. Now tell me, when are we going to learn about the sleazy deal that's going to happen there? As it has for the ACT Party, as it has for the United Party, and sadly as it has for the Maori Party, who have destroyed all reason for special seats for Maoridom, if that's the way they're going to construct their politics. The whole integrity of our system is put at risk. The law is the law, and the Prime Minister seems oblivious to why we have electoral law. Now this party has faced these accusations in the past. I want to remind members that in 2008, it was the ACT Party and the United Party offshoot that brought charges against New Zealand First for funds for an electoral petition, not a campaign, but for an electoral petition as to who was the right member of Parliament for a seat called Tauranga. Now, the accusations, you know, went to the police, the Serious Fraud Office and the Electoral Commission, and all turned out to be donuts. Nothing. But the National Party didn't stop, did they? No, they had a privileged committee hearing, a total kangaroo court, and sort of said, we'll hang him in the morning, but before that, we'll give him a trial. I want to remind those members, and the member who's the Attorney General of all, because he's meant to be an expert in law, that if he goes to the 3 drafts from that Commission report, now don't mumble, the 3 drafts of that committee all have this statement. They said those 3 final drafts that should Winston Peters have won the case in Tauranga, then he would have pecuniary interest because he would become the MP with all the extra additional electorate MP funding. Look at the 3 drafts. It's all there. Now, I called up the clerk of the committee, knowing full well that the chairman was Simon Power, a lawyer. They had now Justice Koss, an advisor, a lawyer. The committee clerk is a lawyer, and said to her, I cannot believe, with all the lawyers on that committee and your legal advice, that you don't understand the law. Because it's not going to be one MP out, another MP in. No, it's a by-election, an extra cost to the member. So how can they possibly allege pecuniary interest? Look at the final draft. Out comes that clause, and they said he still had pecuniary interest and applied it retrospectively. Now, I know when politics stinks, and we came back from that, because a lot of people in this country, no, they don't, Mr. Finlayson, think it's a joke. They know that parts of our system are rotten. And despite that, New Zealand First still said we should keep the 5% threshold, we should get rid of the code-telling provisions, and that's the way we should run our democracy under MMP, not perverted and distorted at every move. Now, what did Mr. Key say back then? Before the committee even had the inquiry, he doesn't meet my standards. Hadn't heard any evidence, of course. No, he believed Owen Glenn, although I demolished 32 statements that Mr. Glenn demolished. I demolished 31, but couldn't find the phone accounts in 4 days as the committee was demanding. It's rotten, but we're back, and we're never going to forget it, Mr. Finlayson, because you used your party, the whole system, in a kangaroo court, in a majority report, and who were the strongest proponents? The ACT Party, the Maori Party, and the United Party all stood there in condemnation. So if you think we're going to forget that, then you're dreaming. No, you won't forget it, Mr. Speaker, because the law is the law. And I say again, look at those 3 drafts, which all make the allegation of pecuniary interest. It becomes demolished by the, oh, move on. Oh, of course she says move on, because she's the Minister of Police. Why she's the Minister of Police is beyond me, because she doesn't understand the law. I saw the other day helping a Member of Parliament, and boy, she's going to be embarrassed by that, as these facts are unfolded. It just shows why she is so unqualified to be the Minister of Police. And the Minister of Justice as well was doing the same thing, as was the head of the Maori Affairs Select Committee, Tau Henare. There is a day of reckoning. Oh, no, you'll make my day, I won't be making yours. Of that you can be sure. It's no use shouting out here. The point is, it is sleaze to think that you can organise before the election all these arrangements, prop up the guy in Epsom, prop up the guy in Ohio, maybe prop up the Maori Party, though they're wasting their time there, and last of all, do a deal with someone who says there's such a great demand for our brand of politics that we need a ladder from the National Party. Unbelievable. And that's the reason why MMP soon will sort itself out, because the public are wising up to this. But what I want to ask the National Party is this. Why did they apply such duplicitous standards in the case of Mr Banks? Why did the Prime Minister say, I am not going to read the police report? Next question. Why not? Because I trust Mr Banks. Likewise, remember when it came to the allegations about Mr Peter Dunn, whose speech today, I mean, I couldn't believe this. I thought, this guy's going to get struck by lightning very shortly. He is seriously going to get struck by lightning, because he is talking about integrity and honour in politics. And what did Mr Keir say about the leak with respect to the GCSB report? He said, I would like to believe him. I'd like to believe him. And then he went, and suddenly he found a renewed belief, because he came back. And he's back now as the Minister. Leaked state secrets 4 times. This Prime Minister has got standards. They're so low, they could parachute out of the bottom of a snake on issues like this. That's how bad it is. No, don't frown. Out there, there are tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of National Party people who in a recent poll said they find all of this business so distasteful. But you will not be making allegations about New Zealand First receiving money for campaign funding, will they? No, the National Party is so bad, that to get around the electoral law, they have an auction to play a game of golf against the world's most famous golfer, John Key. And up gets an Orovita man and pays $53,000 to play a game of golf against John Key. How do you like that? Naked, venal, sleazy, underhand. Oh, no, what did you say there, the woman over there who made that statement?
I said they won't play a game with you, that's why. You know?
No, nobody tries to play a game with New Zealand First. You know why? We got honour. We have principles. We stand for them. And out there in New Zealand, there are hundreds of thousands of people who are telling me that they seriously want us back in big numbers in 2014, and guess 1/3 of them happen to be national. Oh, that took the smile off their face, and I've got great news for them. In 21 years, this party called New Zealand First has never engaged in this sleazy, coat-tailing, coat-hanger deal type of behaviour. 21 years, the only immutable, honourable party in this respect.
1999.
What was the coat? What was the deal we did in 1999? Remind me, Mr. Finnison. Remind me, what was the deal in 1999? Oh, he's gone silent. Just makes an allegation off the top of the head, opens up his mouth, lets the wind blow his tongue around, and he can't sheet home the allegation. He is meant to be a lawyer. He tells us the best one Parliament's ever seen. The best one Parliament's ever seen. But when he's asked for the simple question, what was the deal in New Zealand First did in 1999? He's gone strangely silent. Not a mutter, not a murmur, not a syllable, not a sound. Oh, and they made the allegations, of course, about Mr O'Rourke through the media, and guess who got nailed? The National Party member over there. The National Party member over there, the recent input, poor Claudette, she got nailed. The allegation was against my member. Now, let me be honest. I thought we're not taking that sort of thing in this campaign. I know someone who's doing just that. Her name is Claudette. I'll tell the media.
Order.
And the rest is history.
The member must
Thank you very much. I know. But you see, somebody over here wanted an example. Mr Coleman, again, tongue engaged before brain. And now he's found out. Again. Dr Coleman. Well, if that's the case, it's right on Winston Peters to you then, sunshine. Mr Speaker, the good news is, I'm sorry for John Banks, I personally am. Because hang on a minute. John asked me, whose team did, would I be a witness in his case. I did not say no. That's a fact, because I think he was badly advised by the lawyers. But my real point is, he exposed the National Party for what
time
it is
expired.
A shadow of its former self.
I call the Honourable Minister Ian